Hello and welcome back to another episode of Marvel Mad. I'm your host as always, Dwayne the Captain Coffee, and we have another classic MCU review. This time, next in line is Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, it was released in 2015 and it ranked in a 1.4 billion at the box office, which is pretty damn good going. And I think it's fair to say though, it is probably one of the weaker Avengers films out of the whole lot so far. But it's still a ton of fun. Compared to the others, it's not brilliant and it still does fall short of like big moments and stuff, but it's still got some great moments in there, great action, great sequences, character development, the lot. But we'll get into it as we talk it along, sort of thing. Now, we do get our first proper scene of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in their full power mode, sort of thing. And speaking of Quicksilver, there's a part obviously at the end of the film I'm really pissed about, pretty much. But again, we'll talk about that later on. And the one thing that stands out of this film is Age of Ultron is very more comical, sort of thing. You got there obviously the bit with Captain America when the storm in the Hydra base they're all I think Iron Man swears and Captain America's language. And I was like, it's funny at the moment, but you didn't want it to oversaturate it during the film, which it does in moments. Another one as well where they finally broke into the Hydra base and they're getting the Loki scepter back, and I think it's not Strucker, but one of the Hydra command people's like, right, never surrender, and then he turns around to his second commander and goes, right, I'm surrendering. It's it is quite funny, but when you look back at it now, it's was that really necessary? I don't think it was, sort of thing. And it just gave a lot of moments throughout the film. It gave the movie just a different vibe to it, sort of thing. It was come on, there's no need for them, sort of thing. And again, after all the action died down and Hawkeye's been shot and stuff, it's how did they really come up with the lullaby thing as well? Between Black Widow and Hulk, it's that always sort of picked at me a bit. I didn't see that point, sort of thing. It was time for a lullaby. Was it really necessary? I'm sure they could have come up with some other different way or something like that to get him to calm down, but just using this, I'm a bit, I don't know, sort of thing. But then, obviously, they go back to the base. The Tony and Banner sort of play around with the staff and realise there's basically a bigger brain in there, and he's obviously thinking this is how they can use this shield around the world, sort of thing, and inadvertently makes Bleeding Ultron. Now, to me as well, when you think of Ultron, the creator has always been Hank Pym, and I can understand why they gave it to Tony in this one, and sort of a bit of Banner as well, sort of thing. But was it? It worked for the story now, but again, they took liberties like this. And they could have easily just introduced Hank Pym into this, and then had him create Ultron as well, if they really want to be comic accurate. But again, for the wider story, it did work well, being Tony, sort of thing. So I can let that bit go, sort of thing. But the party scene as well, when they're all chatting and Hulk still flirting with Black Widow, and it's okay, but it was really nice. And then one of the best Stan Lee cameo bits is where they're drinking this really old Asgardian drinking a lot, and Stanley's go on then, gives he drinking a lot, and he's I don't think he's really meant for mortal men. He's come on, don't. I think he said I fought on Omaha Beach. Come on, I can handle it. And he drinks it, and he's stumbling out, going, "Excelsior!" I love that bit. It's one of the best Stan Lee cameo bits. That is. He's just even just saying his line as well, "Excelsior." I love it. I absolutely love it. And then obviously, another funny moment afterwards is go on, and who can pick up Thor's hammer, sort of thing. They're all trying it and stuff like that. And you can see the first moments of his cap actually worthy, and so he picks it, it starts wobbling, and Thor's face, again, another funny moment. It's the panic. It's oh crap, he might actually be worthy, he might actually do this, sort of thing, which was quite cool. But then it gets all disrupted by the lesser form of Ultron, sort of thing. And this moment is where it sort of plants them little seeds for Captain America Civil War, where they're sort of not bickering, but they're sort of clashing amongst themselves. And it's leading Tony's created a killer robot, and he's like, okay, sort of thing. But you can see them form, like cracks forming, sort of thing, which was really nice. And back in the day, when Marvel was at their like highest and most like precise, they do these like little like seems like seeds of doubt, or not seeds of doubt, but little seeds of like what's to come for the future, which is really nice, sort of thing. And we also get our first mention of Wakanda, which later down the line, when Black Panther and like is properly introduced, that's perfect, absolutely perfect. And like, but we do meet Ulysses' core as well, sort of thing, like storing all the vibranium stuff that Ultron needs to create Vision. And played by Andy Serkis, I honestly think, I know nothing massive happens to him in this film apart from getting his hand chopped off, which I loved, which was perfect for what he is in the comics, sort of thing. But I do think he could have been used a lot more as well, especially an actor like Andy Serkis as well. He's absolutely amazing actor, so I would have liked to have seen him done a lot more. And I do think it's not just in this film, it's like later films down the line he is done dirty. But again, story wise, I can completely understand, sort of thing, and it all works, sort of thing. But then obviously they're having that massive fight in the boat, and another funny moment is like Hawkeye's almost mind controlled where everybody else is getting taken out, and he's like, no, I've done that once, I'm not doing it again, which that was funny. He sort of zaps Wanda, sort of thing, and obviously he gets taken out, while Tony's obviously getting distracted by the other form, like a better form of Ultron. So now I gotta admit, the form of Ultrons, they just get better and better each time, sort of thing. They look perfect. Again, almost spot on to the comics. Like when they do these villains and character looks and stuff like that, absolutely perfect, and they always nail that look, sort of thing. Even if sometimes they don't use them the best, they nail the look superbly, sort of thing. And then obviously Hulk gets transformed, and this leads to that amazing fight of the Hulkbuster versus Hulk. Now, absolutely wrecks shop, whatever city they was in, I can't remember. It's just decimated, but it's so good. But again, so very heavy on the funny. Is like, go to sleep. He's like, spits out his tooth and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Again, funny moments, and I did like them moments. They was funny, but was it really necessary? So I don't. It feels like I'm shitting on this film. I don't mean to, but it's just things I have to rewatch. When you rewatch them again, it's like, is it really necessary? So it's like, okay, but then obviously they have to drop a building on the Hulk to actually have to calm down, and the team's all pretty shook up. So obviously they need somewhere to lay low. And now this bit was a nice little touch of like going off to somewhere totally off the grid, and then you meet Hawkeye's family. Now that was a really sweet moment. And again, you see the bubbling like bits of, especially Captain America and Iron Man and Tony, like their arguments there, sort of thing. And then again, the proper love interest between like Hulk and Black Widow. And I do hold my hands up. I looked it up. I didn't realise there actually was like a little bit of a thing in the comics, but it wasn't to the extent that it was done here. Like, okay, it makes sense to have it like this, but again, was it really necessary? I don't really think so, sort of thing. So, yeah. But one of the like that when they're going after the cradle that they've like Ultron's pinched and he's trying to make a better form for himself, sort of thing, and inadvertently creates Vision. That wasn't a brilliant fight sequence in that lot. It was really nice, and it's like the twins turn on him as well there, which was really good and really nice in that lot. And yeah, after like Thor had a vision, he comes back and basically ignites the cradle and makes like Vision, sort of thing like that. That was really nice. And again, the look of Vision as well, absolutely perfect, just spot on again to the comics, which was really nice. But then you oversaturating them with some more humour of like when they're chatting and stuff like that, and then Vision just picks up Thor's hammer and goes, right, it's time, we need to go and stop him because he's going to drop this like Sokovia down and just wipe everybody out, sort of thing. And it's like, again, he tells Stark, "Oh, don't worry, Ultron hates you the most because he's like a form of Stark, just in this metal form of hatred sort of thing." Now, again, was it really necessary? And again, the Quicksilver Hawkeye sort of rivalry as well, sort of thing. I think he whips past him while they're on the rock, basically going up, and the Hawkeye's like, "Oh, I could shoot him, but nobody would know." And I was like, "Oh well, I don't know where you going, the quick little bastard," or something like that. It was funny. Again, back in the day, all these moments I'd have laughed at, but rewatching them again now, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of comedy in this that probably wasn't necessary back in the day or back now, sort of thing. And for this as well, for me, it's probably controversial to say, but I'd have rather have had Hawkeye die in this film instead of Quicksilver. Like, he's one of the fastest people around, and you shoot him. It's sort of a bit contradictory. Like, if he's that quick, surely he could dodge the bullets. But obviously he's pushing a car in the way to save Hawkeye and that lot. It was like, was it really necessary? Surely you'd have let, especially after the heartfelt stuff that Hawkeye's had in this film, surely you'd let him perish now, so he can go out like on his shield, basically, and like being a hero and trying to save everybody, sort of thing. Not Quicksilver, because Quicksilver could have had a lot more to do in future films. And I know they've done other bits referencing him and like bringing a certain Quicksilver back for WandaVision, but would have been even better if it was Quicksilver and not obviously the one from the X-Men universe and stuff. So that always like bugbears me, to be honest, and it was like not necessary sort of thing. But again, obviously while they're on the floating rock as well, sort of thing, and S.H.I.E.L.D. comes to save all the civilians, and any like heroes obviously can't fly, like your Hawkeyes and Black Widows and stuff. And another little detail that I only realised after watching it, sort of thing, is the chap, I think he's like a nameless character sort of thing, in Winter Soldier, that didn't refuse to set the what's it called off against Rumlow. The helicarrier, sorry, they weren't going to set the helicarriers off because Rumlow was going to have to shoot him in the head. He's actually back with S.H.I.E.L.D. and the helicarrier and stuff like that, which is quite a nice little detail. I quite like the continuity of, like, even if it's a little side character, they're still brought back to go, it still makes sense that, oh yeah, he was a S.H.I.E.L.D. member, so of course he's going to portray like the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, like pride and working with Fury and stuff like that, which is really good. And then one of the best 360 shots in, like, you've had a few in Marvel, but this scene where they're all battling on that little like statue bit before trying to hit the thing to make it all go down and stuff like that. That was one of the best 360 shots I have seen in the MCU. It was just so good. It's like one of them scenes up there with the portals from Endgame and Infinity Wars. Endgame. Yeah, it was up there with that. It was just so well done. You notice like little things of like who's fighting, like how they're fighting, and what powers they're getting taken down with. It was so good, and I just loved watching that bit, sort of thing. And obviously the stops and they managed to break up the lad and up that, but destroying Ultron as well like that. It was just, I know that he burns him out of the internet, so he can't run away. Because I'm sure he's coming back in. What's he coming back in? Ironheart, I think he's coming back in. But I'm glad. I think he's coming back in Ironheart. But you shouldn't have tried to destroy him there and then like that. It was just he again could have been one of them recurring villains. Because in the comics he is all powerful sometimes. That lot. Like obviously in What If he merges with Vision and becomes like the ultimate Vision or whatever it's called. So having him killed off like that was a bit naff, but again it played the story well, and but I still would have liked to keep him there, sort of thing. So yeah, it was, yeah, it's not a brilliant film, it's not like perfect, but it still has these flaws and that lot. But the ending as well, they're in the compound, you have new members like Falcon, War Machine, And obviously Scarlet Witch now, as well as Cap and Black Widow, because obviously Hulk's disappeared into the ether on a Quinjet and all that. He didn't want to come back because of the pain he's done. Then you get the moment where he's like, Avengers! And there's cuts off. I was like, you teasing sons of that was really nice. I did like that moment, and it gives you more anticipation to when he finally says them Avengers Assemble line right at the end of Endgame. Just perfect, absolutely perfect. But the film's okay. Definitely is one of the weaker ones for me in that lot, and it's one that, like other these MCU films, like reviews I'm doing, I'd gladly go back and watch. This ain't one of them, though, to be honest. I wouldn't really go back and watch this. It's not one that I could take enjoyment out of again because of seeing the flaws in it. But and I tell you the one thing as well, I'm a sad sod for getting all these replicas and like pictures and Funko Pops and stuff. That marble picture of them doing the fight thing as well at the end of the film in the credits, I'd buy that all day long because that looked fantastic. I really did like that sort of thing. And then obviously we get to see a glimpse in the post-credit scene where Thanos going to get the glove and getting the Infinity Stones himself, just showing you like, oh boy, this dude means business and it's going to be hell to pay, which is really nice now, like, and sets up so many things coming then forward. But yeah, what do you think? Is Age of Ultron definitely the weakest Avengers film for you and that lot? Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share and subscribe and all that jazz and that lot, and let me know if I'm being too harsh or if I'm not being harsh enough. Just let me know in that lot, and we'll see you all in the next video on Marvel Mad. Thank you very much, and goodbye.